Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome back. Jordan here. Today, I'm going to share with you how to overcome this reality that is becoming harder and harder to stand out online, to get attention. And we can complain. We can complain about the algorithms that have changed, and now they're favoring just larger accounts. We can complain that reach and engagement has decreased. I think it's 61% since 2019. All these things are true, but there's still people out there who are crushing it. People out there who are growing, who are getting clients, and whose content is working. And I think it has less to do with like who's the smartest, who's the best, and it has everything to do with who can be the most interesting, who can say the same things that everybody else are saying, but say them in a more interesting and unique way. And I personally believe one of the most silly pieces of advice when it comes to content or your ads or whatever is like, give value, give more value. Like, yeah, obviously, motherfucker, but like, what does that mean? Well, value can come in a lot of forms, right? It can be an epiphany. It can be a feeling that you help someone create. But I think one of the best forms of value is saying something that maybe people have heard before, but saying it in a humorous or interesting or counterintuitive way. For me, that's the stuff that I like watching. So as an example, when I mean say something in an interesting or unique way, think about it like this. Instead of saying, hey, today I'm going to show you how to do a proper hip hinge. So this way, if you're squatting, you're deadlifting, you can stay safe, you can make sure you engage the right muscles. And here's exactly how to go about doing that. So what you want to do is pretend that there's a table being shoved into your hips, and you're going to drive your glutes directly backwards until you feel your hamstring stretch, yada, 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 boring, boring, boring. Right? Nobody gives a shit. Now, instead, what if you said, hey, here's how to do a hip hinge. I want you to imagine that you're trying to pee with a boner. LOL, right? Like, and then you just like actually imitate that out. See, it's like people will remember that. They won't remember just the boring instructional hip hinge tutorial. So anyways, I'm going to give you some more examples of that here in a moment, but I first want to just share the 3 keys or the framework that I always think through and that we teach in IFCA when it comes to making a great piece of content or an ad creative or whatever. First, you need a hook. You have to capture the attention. So, a hook, a call out to who it is you're trying to speak to, or just a nice pattern interrupt. And I'm going to give you some examples of pattern interrupts here in a moment. So you go hook. Number 2 is either story, value, or pain. So if you're doing a story, so it's like hook story, then the story is something like, here's a framework. Hey, I was here doing this when this happened. So therefore I did, or I said, or I thought this, and here's what happened next. And so here's what that means for you, or here's the lesson, or here's what I learned, or here's how this relates to your weight loss journey, or whatever, right? It could be your own personal journey of like how you overcame your problems. And it could be something unrelated that you tied back to fitness, or you don't tie it back to it at all. So a good example is a post that I made recently that I'll actually just read to you, where I just wanted to tell a story, and I wanted to tie this story back to a business lesson. All right. This post got a ton of engagement, ton of comments because I used a good hook and I told a story. All right. I'll just read it to you here. So a few weeks ago, we took our 2-year-old son to Monster Jam. And for context, in case you're reading this and you're un-American as fuck and thinking, what's Monster Jam? Think of it like the Roman Colosseum, except instead of gladiators fighting to the death, 1,500 horsepower trucks are sitting on massive tires performing feats of hillbilly bliss. They smash into cars, they go off jumps, they do donuts, and Jackson's favorite, they do wheelies. It's fucking awesome. Anyways, as we arrived at the stadium, we made our way down to our front row, most expensive seats, which were about $140. Baller, I know. And as the show started, I realized I'd made a horrible mistake. The rattling explosions of the methane-fueled supercharged motor scared the shit out of Jackson. He pleaded, go that way, pointing up the stairs to the safety of the hallway. So initially we ran out of the stadium, we let him cool off, and I tried giving him a pep talk, and we returned to our seats, but he was still petrified. So what did we do? Did we hang out with him in the hallway where he was comfortable? Nah, it's not how life works. Aaron and I knew Jackson's safety was not a concern. He had headphones on to protect his ears, and so we sat a reasonable distance and height over the trucks so that he wouldn't be harmed. So I just bear hugged him and forced him to sit and watch while verbally reassuring him and expressing my excitement. It turned around 60 seconds later and he was calm, pointing and screaming, wheelies, monster trucks in the sky, whoa. And then I shared the lesson, right? Joseph Campbell is famous for his work on the hero's journey. And a famous quote goes like this: the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek. How many times have you entered into a new arena only to be met with crippling fear? And if you were the one who's bold and pushed through, how fucking sweet was the experience on the other side of that fear? This applies to business. Typically, whatever you fear the most and avoid the most is the action that will propel you the most. So make the investment, make the post, launch the ad, send the DM, whatever it is, just send it. Remember, you're not going to die. You can see here how I just told a simple story using this framework and tied it back to a business lesson. Really great piece of content. That would make a great ad too. Let's say you're not going to do a story. You're going to just give value in the post. So you go hook value. Value can be simple, right? Here are 3 steps to XYZ, or better, use a negative hook. Like here are 3 things to stop doing if you want to, reach your weight loss goal this summer or whatever. Really that simple. Then we have pain. Like let's say you're trying to influence more, use more of a copywriting approach. This would resonate more with like ads. You would go hook, problem, agitation, solution. A good hook, and then you really state the problem. Hey, are you a mom over 30 who's tried every diet under the sun, and no matter what you do, you end up worse off than when you started, right? And I know how it feels. You probably are like, well, what's even the point? Screw it. I'm just going to give up, whatever. Well, what if I told you that there was a better way? So you see, I'm doing hook, I'm stating the problem, agitating the problem, and then I'm going to lead into a solution. Now, don't get me wrong. It's kind of a boring ad, but you get the point. And then the CTA is the third part, right? So you just go hook, either story value or pain, and then CTA. Now, the goal here, the most important part, is by far the hook. The hook, the pattern interrupt. So we have to find a way, no matter what it is we're saying, to get them to stop thinking about what it is they're currently doing and stop whatever it is they are doing and break their pattern. All right. So cut through the noise. We need to jar them out of their current state. We need to get them to stop scrolling and pay attention. We need to build curiosity and create an open loop, or ultimately to get them to actually watch and view the thing that we need them to. One example here is to create an open loop. Here's an example. Let's say I was going to do an ad where I'm holding a shake weight, right? Anyways, here's an example of how you can like really stop the scroll using an open loop. So let's say I'm holding a shake weight and I'm jerking it off, right? And I would just say, hey, if you're a bomb over 40, this is a shake weight. And you've probably been told that this will make you weightless. When in reality, the only thing that reduces in weight is your wallet. And you get really awkward looks from your kids, and maybe you excite your husband. What if I told you that there was a better way to not only get your husband all riled up, but to get into the shape that you want this summer? Again, this is just like a funny, corny little hook, but like even the image on the screen with a shake weight would be a pattern interrupt that people would stop and be like, why are they holding a shake weight, right? Or maybe you're holding a leaf blower, or you're holding an Oreo or something, right? Another example is Alex Hormozy has some ads running right now where he's like, ring, 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 and he holds a banana up to his ear, and he's like, what? You want to give away $1,000? Oh, interesting. And then he goes right into the ad. It's just a simple pattern interrupt. So another one is like a challenge, like a hard challenge to someone. You can say, hey, if you're a busy mom, you're probably not going to watch this. Or, hey, this is not for you if blank. Or, hey, this is only for you if blank. And then the final one that I really like is a curiosity-based pattern interrupt, where it's a sort of paradoxical question that takes seemingly unconnected or contradictory elements that don't seem like they should go together, and it creates a big open loop. For example, hey, could the secret to getting in shape actually be eating more food? Or, hey, could the secret to building bigger muscles actually be lifting lighter weights, right? All these things are like, whoa, interesting. That's counterintuitive. I'm probably going to stay, watch this to close this loop. Other ways you can do this, guys, is just like, be a character. I know a guy, a good friend of mine, Brad Jensen, who dresses up like Sheena. And Sheena is this like typical archetype of a, chronic dieter who thinks, has all the misbeliefs, right? And he just kind of makes fun of her. And people who are like her kind of see themselves in that, and they have some humor around it. Or even my other friend, Maverick, who he always acts like this. He acts like a Viking. He dresses up like a Viking, and he's in like great shape, and he's like a really good looking guy. And that alone is like, well, who's this jacked guy in a Viking outfit, right? So it's just saying the same thing everybody else is saying, but saying it in a unique way, being funny, being engaging, being entertaining. So anyways, I hope this helps, and hopefully you guys can implement a few of these things and get either your content, your ads, and your message out to more people. So anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you on the next one.